career and in your experience as a parent, what do you think parents need to be doing as far as educating their children, aside from preaching abstinence?
Okay. Like you say, abstinence would be the best way to prevent disease in pregnancy. But it is a little unrealistic in this day and age. I think the biggest thing parents can do is really to be honest, be receptive to your children, ask questions. And when your kids want to come and talk to you about things, don't act shocked. If we act shocked, that gives a message to our kids that something's wrong with them, that maybe they should know more about a certain subject, or maybe what they feel is wrong. And if you act shocked, I guarantee your children are not going to come back and talk to you about it again. You get one opportunity to answer those questions potentially.
Well, we're seeing STDs on the rise, and I guess I'm wondering, why is that? We seem to have done a fairly good job of convincing the kids to use condoms so that they won't get HIV, but they seem to have kind of forgotten about the other STDs. What's your take on that?
I think that, like all teenagers, we've all experienced that. We think we're invincible. We think it's not going to happen to us. And I think that, they think it's just one time, and it happens. Luckily, we have done a good job at educating our teens about HIV. However, alarmingly, the HIV rate overall is going down, the incidence is going down, but we are seeing a rise in younger women,
wow,
heterosexual women, averaging around, in their 20s. We're seeing a higher incidence of that particular group on new infection HIV. What we are seeing a lot of, we are now screening, most offices are screening for the herpes type 2, genital herpes,
right,
through blood testing and antibody testing. So we are seeing a high number of people coming in who have herpes type 2 that are not aware that they have herpes type 2.
So they don't know, and then they're accidentally spreading it.
Exactly.
They think they're safe.
Exactly. And because they're asymptomatic, 50% of those positive for HSV2 will be asymptomatic. Now, that's not to say they may not have symptoms later on.
Mm-hmm.
Stress and decreased, immunity, colds, flus, mononucleosis can bring on an initial outbreak of HSV.
What do you think, how would be the best way, let's just take this from a male and female. If you have a girl, what do you think is a good way to sit down and talk to her when she gets to be, maybe has a boyfriend in high school, or an age where you think sex could be imminent?
I think the best thing, again, is being open and receptive. The thing that parents don't realize is teenagers don't think that far ahead. And it is this feels good at the moment, and this is what someone is coaxing me into. Peer pressure, we talk peer pressure. That is one of the areas that peer pressure is very prevalent. And, talking, if we don't talk to them at all, then they don't know what our feelings are. If we talk to them about sex and birth control, then they know where we stand on it.
And what do you think about going through the scenario with a daughter, or really with a son either? What happens if you get pregnant? Is that when you share like your feelings about abortion or adoption, or would you help the child be raised?
I think more importantly in that situation, it's important as far as, role playing and whatnot. More importantly than you sharing your opinion on that, it's more important to ask them what is their opinion on that.
Great point.
Because we are all, very different. Spiritually, we're different. We all have different opinions. So it does open a dialogue, by asking them specifically, what do you think about, you know, Mary Sue getting pregnant? What do you think she should do? What would you do in that situation?
Great point.
Again, I think that if you don't talk to them at all, then they don't have an understanding of what your thoughts are on it. And that's a more dangerous situation.
Do you have any personal experience?
I do. I had a friend that I worked with that had 2 daughters, very nice family, great girls, and very smart, very involved in their church. And I had a conversation with her one day, and I said, have you talked to your girls about birth control? Both the girls had boyfriends. And she looked at me and she said, oh, no, we're not going to go there. They're not going to do anything like that. And unfortunately, both girls ended up pregnant before the age of 18. And in fact, one of her daughters had a baby at 16 and had another baby at 18.
Wow.
Yes. So you can't ignore what is human nature. And human nature is we're sexual beings. And, a lot of times that is a way for the teenagers to express their emotion for another person. And they think they're in love for the rest of their life.
Right. They can't see that far down the road.
Exactly. And they never think it's going to happen to them. So you need to prepare your child for the situation ahead of time so that, they know when they get into that situation, how would they handle it.
And do you think it is okay to say to your daughter, here, I'll give you birth control, or for the father to say to the son, don't want you to go down this route, but if you need condoms?
That is, it depends on the family dynamics.
Very individual.
There's no right and wrong. I do believe, in my opinion, I think it's embarrassing for a 25-year-old to go in to buy condoms, and I think that we should prepare both our boys and our girls and have condoms readily available. We're not going to be there with them on a Friday and Saturday night at a party and be able to hand them a condom. I think that in my opinion, we should prepare them.
Now, what about the common STDs that we're seeing? Is it still pretty much HSV2? And then what's happening, has the Gardasil shot brought down the incidence of the human papillomavirus?
It has. By far, herpes type 2, genital herpes, is by far leading the pack on common STDs. After that, we see a lot of, at least in the Atlanta area, we see a lot of chlamydia. And HPV, yes, it has. I don't think we have seen a trend yet in the drop of cervical dysplasia and genital warts, because this vaccine only came out a few years ago, and we started vaccinating at age. The recommendation is with their 11-year-old vaccination schedule. So those girls are not yet sexually active.
Right.
We hope. So, so I don't think we have seen quite a dip yet. Now, as those girls become sexually active and into their 20s, I think we'll see a vast drop. I know in 2002, 270,000 women died of cervical cancer.
Wow.
And it's estimated that in the year 2015, that will be down to 6,000.
Just because of the
That's
shot?
the estimation from the CDC.
Wow, that is amazing.
The Gardasil prevents against the 2 most common types of HPV that cause cervical cancer, and that cuts the risk down to about 75%. It is now recommended for boys 11 through 26.
Jana, thank you so much. This has been very enlightening and I think very informative for our parents. Basically, it's the same thing that we probably hear in every avenue. Keep the lines of communication open, talk to them, be receptive and non-judgmental.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.